We have another one of these stories of what at this point, I mean, I don't know if we just have to call this finding out the hard way. Another anti-vaccine Republican, this one in particular, was pushing the big lie that Donald Trump actually won the 2020 election, but it was stolen by Joe Biden. I mean, it's like exhausting to even repeat it at this point. A local Michigan Republican official reports the Daily Beast, who refused to certify Joe Biden's presidential victory in his county and who very much opposed vaccines, has died of COVID-19. This was 63-year-old William Hartmann. He, we now found out, died on November 30th in a hospital in Michigan. He would regularly spread lies and conspiracy theories about the election on, of course, his Facebook page. And a fellow Republican on the Wayne County Board of Canvassers initially declined to certify the tallies of the 2020 presidential election votes after they come in. And Hartmann agreed with that and tried also to prevent their certification. And ultimately, they did certify the vote counts. Then they said, we're going to take back our certification. Some of you may remember, like we talked about this in Michigan, where there was a certification and then they wanted to take it back, but it was too late, on and on and on. This same guy, William Hartmann, said on Facebook that vaccine passports resemble Nazi Germany's draconian laws. And he has continued with this incredible string of completely bonkers COVID vaccine denial and conspiracy theories and other things. And he ended up in the hospital with the virus, and he has subsequently died. We learned that he was in the ICU with pneumonia, and on and on and on. So at this point, are these stories unique? They are not. Is this, at the end of the day, finding out the hard way? We knew what to do. We knew how to do it. The vaccine was free to him, and he didn't get it. Now, with any individual case, and this is always the important thing, you will have people who will come back and say, but David, can you say for sure that if this particular individual had been vaccinated, he would have survived? And of course not. Nobody is saying that. What we do know is that being vaccinated dramatically reduces the odds that you end up very, very sick or dying. And at a population level, not necessarily William Hartmann, but at the population level, we know what there is to do. And part of this, I hesitate to use this term, but there's a very specific way in which it makes sense. These unvaccinated COVID deaths, when these are just choices not to get vaccinated, often because of false beliefs about the vaccine, these are wasted, these are pointless deaths. And what I mean by that is, if you didn't do the simple thing that would likely prevent you from dying, not guaranteed, but likely, you didn't do it, then it's very stupid to die in this way, in the sense that just getting a free vaccine might have kept you alive. Now, of course, there are people who do all of the things that are available. They follow various guidelines, they get vaccinated, and sadly, they still get sick and die. Colin Powell is one of them. That's a different situation. And of course, because we know that that will happen to some people, why would we want to add on to that by tempting fate, by saying, I'm not going to go and get vaccinated? It makes no sense. In that particular sense, it's a dumb death. And it doesn't mean that getting COVID is feminine, the way Tucker said. It just means if you've not done the basics, which are free, to give yourself a better shot at staying alive if you get this disease, then you're sort of learning the hard way. Now, the last thing, and I've said this before, I'll say it again, this is not merely a self-resolving problem we can look away from. What I mean by that is, as we've said before, if this is just as simple as only the unvaccinated will die as a result of them not getting vaccinated, we could look away and say it's sad, but at the end of the day, it's your own funeral. But it's a contagious disease, and we don't know how many people did William Hartmann infect. Maybe some were too young to get vaccinated. Maybe some were vaccinated but were very sick. So in getting COVID and dying, how many other people might he have taken down with him? And of course, we don't know the answer, But that's the reason why we can't simply look away and say, "Well, who cares if anyone gets vaccinated? I did, and I'm now protected." And it's as simple as that. It is a communicable disease, and the behavior of these people affects others as well. So tack another one onto the list. Notable anti-vax Republican, pushed vaccine conspiracies, pushed election conspiracies, now dead of COVID.